Good morning, everyone. I hope everybody had a good Thanksgiving. Yes? Can one only have a good Thanksgiving with a whole lot of people, a big old table of food, and all that jazz? That's a great thing. But I've spent here Thanksgiving all by myself, and believe me, I've spent Christmas all by myself, New Year's many times all by myself, Easter by myself. Oh, why? Well, someone has to stick around the farm and take care of things. Yes? All right. And I don't drive anymore. But anyway, so I spent all alone these holidays, and people really want to get together. And if you got nowhere to go, oh my gosh, not for me. I love these holidays also all by myself. You know why? Because then I can just be there. For what? For whom? Yes. And just enjoy. Yeah. That's it. But when you're all by yourself, unless, of course, you feel pitiful and miserable because you're by yourself or whatever, there's no drama. You really get to just do whatever you want all day long. Yes? Okay, all right. So, but I wasn't alone this time or this year. It wasn't last year. I haven't been alone for Thanksgiving in many years. But as I said, I have been and enjoyed it just as much. Yes? All right. So, my daughter and her husband, soon to be, they bought a house together. Big house. It's a great house. It's a great backyard. And oh dear, I mean, the feng shui, or whatever it's called, in the house is just great. It's like it has the bottom floor, kind of has two separate parts of the house. That's how it feels like, where one truly can just go off and kind of be on their own. And okay, because most people all congregate on the other side of the house where the kitchen is, where they have the den, right? Then there's just this little hallway. Then of course, then there's another hallway, and you go upstairs, and the upstairs kind of a little bit of a maze. You don't know which room you're going to walk into. There are so many. Wonderful house. I love it. Yeah, first time I saw it. No. I was there before, but again, the same thing. And so my daughter had her family now. Yes, and we got another one on the way. Woo. So happy for them. Where was I going with that? That was their first Thanksgiving there. So I've kind of given, yes, we're way out of the way here. We really are. And everybody, all of my children are kind of together within a couple of hours. No, not even an hour. Within an hour, they live all close by there. And two of them now have family. Yes, okay. So I had given up Christmas, having Christmas here, and we have kind of our traditional Christmas with the Swiss fondue and all that. And my oldest daughter already a few years ago took that over. Yes, yeah. It's just seemed the right thing to do. Huh? Yeah. And I'm happy with that. Again, why not, before you pass away, as say the mother, the elder, the father, the elder, the head of the household, give already your responsibilities to your children with certain things before you pass away. So then when you pass, things are nicely settled. Yes, the harmony and unity is still there, even when you're not there anymore. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? So this was the first year, because when I was up there, I said, okay, guys, how about Thanksgiving? told my other daughter, said, now you're getting settled into a bigger home where you can accommodate everyone. Plus, yes, it was great. We had some of her husband's uh, family there too, and it was amazing. Huh? His mom and I, we've known each other not well, but we've known each other many years for many years, right? And we have a lot in common. We both were up early in the morning on Thanksgiving. They had come the night before to spend the night, and we were both up early drinking coffee and just had for about 2 hours the most amazing talk about our children, how happy we were. Kind of, oh, you like this too. Oh, you're also into that. Lots in common. Wonderful. Yes. Oh, and of course, we're so happy, right? Yes, to be able to welcome in a few months another little one into our families. Ah. So, oh, my daughter was, yeah. So they both have, once a year, great responsibility to bring the family together. And it went amazingly well. It was wonderful, just wonderful. Yes, I was there to cook. Most of it. But everybody contributed. Even my youngest daughter, she wanted to make some. She says, Mom, I've never made, and it was really funny because we were on the phone. So what could she bring, So I said, bring some sparkling cider. Everybody likes that stuff, And she says, but I want to cook something too, Mom. And I thought in the back of my mind, said, oh, the stuffing. She could make the stuffing would be that's always something that I tend to forget. Not, now then I'm rushing. But I didn't say. I said, well, what would you like? She said, what about the stuffing? Can I make the stuffing? I burst out laughing. I said, guess what? I just thought in the back of my mind, but I didn't want to mention it. Well, there you go. Great minds think alike. Anyway, it was great. Then we stayed over that night as well. I went with my brother-in-law, and it was great because he could run between the two homes, between my daughters, and bring things, that we needed something bigger for the ham, and the oven was occupied, and everything worked out just fine, right? And you had the extra people to kind of, do you mind? And, oh, no, what do you need? It was just, everybody worked together. It was really, really wonderful time. And then my son on Friday invited us, and we already knew he had invited us ahead of time, to a show of his, and I've never seen his new band play, so that he is in. So I said, yeah. He says, I'll put you on the list so you won't have to pay. It ended up being $18 a ticket, which we didn't have to pay for. And the room, it was a huge venue, and it was packed. It was just packed. So one would think that, I'm here at home and I have things the way I like it. So it's so easy to just talk about God and the great things that are all happening right here. Let me tell you, I said, I take this Bible everywhere with me. And, of course, Father, let's go and see my son play, right? Yes? Okay. We get there. Everything goes well. I see my son, and he's going, Mom, and his friends, oh, it's Ishi's mom. So amazing. And he says, Mom, what would you like to drink? I said, oh, just go and get me a Coke or something. Nothing alcohol or anything. And it was cold, too. And not in there. It was pretty all right. And I was worried. This is all, everybody was standing. There was no tables and chairs or anything, okay? I'm going, how am I going to make this for 2 hours standing up with my leg? And having just done for 2 days? And I was a little worried, but he comes and he brings me, right? So I didn't have to pay for that. Then he says, Mom, how do you like them T-shirts of ours? I said, I really like them. They were tie-dyed with the name of the band on it, right? Yeah. Well, if you're interested, Dark Moon Hollow is the band. Yeah, they got some really nice songs. Do I agree with all the words? Well, all right. but so I got a T-shirt for free too. Ended up going there and didn't spend a dime. Oh, how convenient for someone who actually didn't have a dime in her pocket. Already given away all my money. Anyway, so he also says, Mom, if you need to go and warm up and sit down, you are allowed in the band room, okay, where the band is, and does it. Oh, cool, yeah. So we ended up doing that because we'd already been there for a while, and I could tell, my leg. So we ended up going over there and just sitting. And it was nice and warm in there. And you walked into this room and you felt like you just stepped into the past. There's a ping pong uh, big ping pong ball machine, and there was other old games, and you're going, oh my gosh, they still exist in that pool table. That's just so amazing. Yeah, just look. I said, records. There was records. And, cassette tapes. A whole wall of cassette tapes. I mean, the little ones. As I said, it's almost like you walked into the 60s and 70s in that room. It was really cool. Cool furniture too. Okay. Anyway, we went back, and here's this girl coming down at just a few steps, and she was wearing these platforms, shiny leather all the way up to her. Looked really nice. It looked nice. She wore it well with whatever she had on, all the way up past her knees and everything. But this high, the platform said, she's coming down, and said, hey, be careful, don't break a leg on them. And she looks at me and she goes, Daniela. Now I'm looking at her and going, no clue who you are. I'm going, but okay. She says, oh, come on. And she pulled us all the way to the front. We would have not known where that is. My son's band was already playing at that time, had just started. So we would have just gone to the back. There was no way to get through that throng of people to the front. She pulled us along on the outside of the building to a door, opened it up, and we were right in front of the stage. My brother-in-law said, who is that girl? I said, I have no idea. But hey. So we're here in the corner. It's a great spot. My brother-in-law loves to record and make pictures and that stuff. So he says, wow, this is a great spot. And he pulled his phone out and started recording. He recorded just about the whole concert. Here I'm standing there, I'm going, man, okay, yeah, I can see everyone. And I thought to myself, I'll just wait until I find my opening to get further up front. I mean, we were literally already right there, but there were people all in front of the stage there. So here come a couple of guys. One of them really tall, and he stands right in front of me. The other one kind of even pushed me a little out of the way, I'm going, yeah, you guys just do what you're going to have to do. And, I'm just going to wait for my opening. Sure enough, about 10 minutes later, I see this like a deer trail through the people. And here I'm going, and there is a chair. But someone was sitting in it. An older gentleman was sitting in that chair. And I thought, okay. So I made it all the way to the chair, and I was literally right there in front of the stage. My son saw me, playing and smiling and going, hey, here I am. Yeah. And I thought to myself, my leg by then started to kind of hurt again, but it was all right. You kind of forgot while you were going with the music, And sure enough, about 25 minutes later, maybe 30 minutes later, okay, which was still a long time in a way, but hey, it was okay. I can't wait. I said, Father, I really need that chair. I really need that chair. If it's possible to make that happen, I'd like to sit in that chair. So, yeah, sure enough, about 25, 30 minutes into it, that gentleman gets up, grabs his jacket, puts it on, leaves the chair. And I'm going up. Kind of looked around if there was anybody older than me who needed it more than I did. And here comes the same girl again, and she hops onto the chair. And she looks over and she sees me. She says, "You need that chair, right? You need that chair." I said, "Yes, I do." And so here I am getting into the chair, and I'm sitting there in the middle, right in front. There's nobody else in front of me anymore, in that chair, with people thronged all around me, left and right and behind me. And here I'm sitting like the queen of the crowd. I tell you, I sat there and going, "Thank you, Father. Thank you, Father." I was so happy. And here I could see the whole show. It wasn't too loud. It was loud, but it was not over. Sometimes when you go to these places and you get close up to it, right? Everything, just the music, the sound, everything overturns. It's too loud. It's not balanced. These guys had it down. Yes. Sounded great. And these guys were good musicians. Yes. Well, anyway. What fun. What fun. Yes? And how was again? Yes? Well, if one asserts, I say, "Yeah, sure, I did my part to it." But yeah. Tell you what, people, you start working with our heavenly parents together, our parental God, and you just know you want to do the best while you're here. You know right from wrong. You're also not afraid to teach. Don't point the finger and accuse and this and that. I have to still work on that too. But don't be afraid to teach. Right? You never know when you actually really, really reach someone's heart. Right? And they then are able to make that change to a what? Happier, more productive life with greater understanding why there is a reason to live on this planet. A good reason to live. And then be good and greater for others around them as well. Yeah, see? All right. There's more, but I could be talking just about that. Anywho, so there it is. Had a great time. Oh, then okay, last thing. Then my son says, "Why don't you come and spend the night at my house?" It was like, gosh, it was 11 o'clock, going to 11:30. By the time we got to his house, almost midnight. And he was still, of course, after playing, hanging around at the band, this and that. And he says, "Mom, I'll be home in about an hour or so." I said, "Yeah, take your time. It won't matter. We'll be asleep anyway." Anywho, so we get there and get into the house, and I'm starting to walk around and going, wow! And the house actually belongs to my soon-to-be son-in-law. Yeah, he had already bought his own home. My daughter had her own home, and they're going to rent them out. Oh, yeah. So my son's living in one of them now. That house was amazing. You should have seen how many rooms there were. It was like this puzzle of rooms somehow. They had added on some on the back. Yeah. Still finishing up. The house is still a bit of a project. So I said, "Wow, okay." We got into the living room. I said, "Wow, there's no TV here or anything. That's amazing." And then we checked out all the rooms, this, that. Yeah, okay. And then, wow, this is really big, right? Yes. Then I saw the washroom, and there was a curtain. I thought, how? Hank, the three-legged dog, was there, and I thought he needs to go out. But where we came in, that's going towards the front. So I knew there was a backyard, right? Yes, from what I've heard, but that house I'd never been to yet. So I kept looking where the backyard door was. I saw this curtain. I'm going in, and there is another den. And there's the TV. I said, "Hey, bud, I found the TV." So then I'm going, okay, now there was a glass door. I said, well, where does that lead to? Open it up, and it led into kind of not a garage. It was just another room, okay? It's not like you could park a car in there. Was no doors for that. But it was like a workroom. Yeah, okay. And there was the door to the outside backyard. Now it's dark, so you couldn't really see much, and it didn't seem like there was a light there. Anyway, open that up, and sure enough, it goes out. And I'm looking, I'm going, how big is that backyard? That's huge. That is a huge backyard, but couldn't quite see it. Well, in the morning, turns out it's about a half-acre yard. And of course, I'm looking and going, oh yeah, baby. This could be a great garden. And it was pretty open too, where the trees were kind of clumped together on one end of the yard. In the way that the sun goes just about all year, that yard most likely got lots of sun. Yeah. Anyway, we figured that out in the morning. Oh, that's not the end. I'm going back in. Hank comes back. Oh, happy he could go out and do his business. Comes back in. And I'm looking, and I'm going, there's another curtain over there. Things aren't quite finished in that house. I'm going, I'm looking, there's another room. That looks pretty finished, or like nice new flooring and all that, And anyway, amazing house. Loved the house. Now, it wasn't all done. There's a lot of things still need to be done. When I look at things like this, I don't see what's not done. I look at the potential of the place. Yes? Oh my gosh. Also, all I can say is a wonderful house. Amazing house. Yeah. Okay. All right. And the backyard. Woof! So I offered my son, hey, do you want me to come and help you organize a little bit after Christmas? I'll come and stay for a week or two, right? Take Gus with me and June, right? Yes, that house actually is set up for cats. Yes, and she would be the only one, so she could be high enough up out of the way of the dogs if needed be. And that huge backyard, and Hank and Gus get along really well and like to play with each other. So maybe. Oh, and I was itching to already start. But I didn't. All right. Enough. Yes, that was our mini vacation, and it was there was more to it, but as I said, it'll take up 2-3 hours for me to, and I felt that God was with me every step of the way. Just there. Enjoying what I was enjoying, and loved it. You loved it, didn't you? Says, you bet I did. Yep. Sorry, people. I'll take that parental God all to myself if no one else is interested. Do you know what I mean? I'm happy to share him, her, my parent, mom and dad in heaven. I'm happy to share that great spirit. But you know what? I just as well too. Just have that spirit all to myself. But at least there is someone, right? Oh, just saying. Because I know what I make it sound like. Why don't more people make it sound like that? Huh? Okay. All right, Daniela. I know. So we are in 6. I think. Yeah, we must be, because, yeah. First Book of Kings, 6. And it says, the temple building. What did I just talk about? Is it really so important to build a temple? Out there? Oh, God's whole world is a temple. right? Earth, universe, spirit world, everything's a whole is a big old temple. Our parental God's temple. Then what kind of temple should we build? Us. We should be a temple for our parental God, either man or woman. Yes, with our qualities, good qualities, our talents, our gifts. Yes, and build that temple so that then God can be someplace. Right? All right. Okay. But here in the Old Testament, they weren't quite there yet to teach that. So let's see how that temple building went. In the 480th year after the Israelites came out of Egypt, 480th year, so 480 years they've come out of Egypt. In the 4th year of Solomon's reign over Israel, in the month of Ziv, which is the 2nd month, he began building the temple of Yahweh. The temple which King Solomon built for Yahweh was 60 cubits long, 20 cubits wide, and 25 high. The portico in front of the hekel of the temple was 20 cubits long across the width of the temple and 10 cubits wide along the length of the temple. How did they know all that? They wrote all that down? Is that temple still standing? Could be. He made windows for the temple with frames and lattice work. He also built an annex against the temple wall right round the hekel and debir. He built lateral stories all around. The lowest lateral story was 5 cubits wide, the middle one 6 cubits, the middle one 6 cubits, and the third 7 cubits. For he had made the outside of the temple wall correspondingly stepped back all around, so that the annex was not attached to temple walls. The building of the temple was done with quarry-dressed stone. No sound of hammer or pick or any iron tool was to be heard in the temple while it was being built. Huh? How do you do that? Man, if they actually did that, that's pretty amazing. They didn't have to make any kind of adjustments or nothing. Not bad, if that's true. The entrance to the lowest story was at the right-hand corner of the temple. Access to the middle story was by a spiral staircase, and so from the middle story to the third. Having finished building the temple, he roofed the temple with a covered ceiling of cedar wood. I said it must have been smelled really good in there. Round the outside of the temple, he then built the annex, which was 5 cubits high and was joined to the temple by cedar wood beams. And the word of Yahweh came to Solomon, with regard to this temple which you are now building, if you follow my statutes and obey my ordinances and faithfully follow my commandments, I shall fulfill the promise which I made about you to your father David. Oh, the promise still going on, right? How long ago had that promise started, right? It's still in the making. Well, now this time, yeah, so it hadn't happened yet. Okay, I think this is all just man-made. I don't think God had anything to do with this. And I shall make my home among the Israelites and never forsake Israel, my people. Solomon finished building the temple. Yeah. All righty. The Ark of the Covenant. What were we talking about? Our parental God being among whom? The people. All right. Well, anyway. But you can't put them into 4 walls. Okay. Interior furnishings, the Holy of Holies. He lined the inside of the temple walls with panels of cedar wood. I must have smelled good. Paneling them on the inside from the floor of the temple to the beams of the ceiling, and laid the floor of the temple with juniper planks. These are all really, really hard. It's hard wood. It's really good wood. And, at least the cedar should repel all kinds of insects. That's not bad stuff that they used. The 20 cubits measured, and the juniper planks, juniper wood, as far as I know, that's really, really hard wood. The 20 cubits measured from the end of the temple he built of cedar planks, again, from the floor to the beams, and this part was reserved as the debir, the Holy of Holies. The temple measured 40 cubits, the hekel, in front of the debir. There was cedar wood round the inside of the temple, ornamentally carved with gourds and rosettes. All was cedar wood, with no stone showing. In the inner part of the temple he designed a debir to contain the Ark of the Covenant of Yahweh. Okay, that's good. The debir was 20 cubits long, 20 cubits wide, and 20 high, and he overlaid it on the inside with pure gold. He made an altar of cedar wood in front of the debir and overlaid it with gold. He overlaid the whole temple with gold, the whole temple entirely. All right. No idea. Yeah. Okay. Let's keep going. The great winged creatures. I have nothing to say to this. And the debir, but because there's nothing coming either. It's like, oh, okay. Well, it's happened a long time ago, right? This is how it was done. The great winged creatures. In the debir, he made 2 great winged creatures of wild olive wood. Oh. It was 10 cubits high. One winged creature's wing was 5 cubits long, and the other wing 5 cubits. Oh. One wing was 5 cubits, and the other 5 cubits. Well, okay, that makes sense. 10 cubits from wing tip to wing tip. Really? Good math, yeah. The other winged creature also measured 10 cubits. Both had the same measurements and the same shape. The height of one was the same as the other's. He placed them in the middle of the inner chamber. Their wings were spread out so that the wing of one touched one of the walls and the wing of the other touched the other wall, while their wings met in the middle of the chamber, wing to wing. Aha! Remember what was over the ark, the part of the box that they built there, and the Ark of the Covenant, and the seat of it. Sounds kind of similar, doesn't it? And he overlaid them with gold. All around the temple walls he carved figures of winged creatures, palm trees, and rosettes, both inside and outside. He overlaid the floor of the temple with gold, both inside and outside. So these winged creatures, it says, the great winged creatures. Did they not have the word of angels yet at the time? I don't know. I can't remember. Did we ever say the word angels? Angel? Yeah. While we've been reading, I can't remember. I could go and look that up, right? I could look up where was the word angel first used in the Bible. The great winged creatures. I bet they looked really good, though. I wonder if they still exist. If everything was covered with gold, well, I guess we'll find out what happened to the temple. I could go and look that up, too. Solomon's temple. If it still exists, I have no idea. Should I know? It's not a good thing to not know. The doors, the court. He made the door of the debir with uprights of wild olive wood and door jambs with 5 intended sections, and the 2 leaves of wild olive wood. He carved figures of great winged creatures, palm trees, and rosettes, which he overlaid with gold, and he gilded winged creatures and palm trees. Okay, it sounds like he did all that, right? No, he didn't. Who did all that? Again, it's just kind of the same as with David. Who takes the credit here? Where should the credit be given for all this? Right? If they were to say he ordered, right, to do all this, okay, so he was the boss, so he ordered, right? But he didn't do it himself. Absolutely not. Can't tell me that. Well, he didn't. We know that. But again, how is this written down? This is so self-centered again. Hey! Similarly, he made uprights of wild olive wood for the door of the hekel, and door jambs for 4 indented sections, and the 2 leaves of juniper. One leaf had 2 ribs binding it, and the other had 2 ribs binding it. He carved winged creatures, palm trees, again, and rosettes, which he overlaid with gold laid evenly over the carvings. He built the wall of the inner court in 3 courses of dressed stone and 1 course of cedar beams. The date. In the 4th year, in the month of Siv, the foundations of the temple were laid. In the 11th year, in the month of Bul, that is the 8th month, the temple was completed exactly as it had been planned and designed. Solomon took 7 years to build it. That's the end of 6. 7 years to build that temple. So, again, is there something wrong with building that temple? Well, no, not. I don't see anything wrong. Okay, again, it just depends on where you want to stick God, right? Yes, I don't see anything wrong in what I just read on how the temple was built, and it sounds like it sounded really beautiful, the wood that was being used and all that. 7 years. What it doesn't say, how did the people of Israel live during those 7 years? While Solomon, most likely wasn't just invested on building that temple, while that temple was being built, what was Solomon doing otherwise? And with all those riches that were being used in that temple, how were the Israelites faring? The common people. How about the workers? Oh, we know about forced labor. Okay. I'm just asking. It doesn't say anything about that. It's as if only Solomon exists within that story. And somewhere, and he himself alone. And one little part. Yeah, that where God says, Yahweh says, again, interestingly, if you do this, then my promise to you and your people. Did you notice something there too? The Israelites. To you and the Israelites. Aren't the Israelites supposed to be God's people? It's not mentioned like that anymore. They're Solomon's people. They were David's people. They're supposed to be God's people. Huh? Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. All right. Well, anyway. So there it is. Ongoing. How did we get to where we are now as mankind? I think just for that reason, this is a good read to get a little bit of clarification, don't you think? All right, that's all I have to share this morning. I think this was long enough, wasn't it? Oh, still within. Okay, I said, who cares about the time, right? I don't, but a lot of people out there do. Yes. Spent so much time on their little devices and playing games, watching TV, this and that, hours and hours and hours and hours. So little time to just listen, learn a little bit about what? Our parental God. Huh? Okay. I'm very happy with God. And I think he's happy with me. That means more to me than anything else. All right. So there we are. God's love, blessings always. May he protect you, and I will talk to you all another time.